Judge just giving the jury instructions emphasizing a guilty verdict must go beyond probability to no reasonable doubt. President Trump heads to Texas today to raise money in a critical midterm Senate race.
The Lone Star State has emerged as a Senate battleground, with Democrat James Tallarico leading Republican Attorney General Ken Paxton in some polls.
Republicans are going to win Texas, let me tell you.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says President Trump is hosting a fundraiser in Houston tonight for the RNC to continue a cash advantage over Democrats.
I also know he's going to be out there traversing the country, meeting with everyday Americans and campaigning on behalf of the great Republican candidates across the board.
Recent polling also shows a tighter than expected governor's race in Texas.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Rescue teams and military helicopters searching for hundreds of people still missing, including more than 60 Americans after deadly flooding along the Nepal-China border. More than 350 people are known dead. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon will bring partly sunny skies with a few sprinkles possible. The temperature will reach a high of 81. Tonight, expect mainly clear conditions, perfect for viewing the lunar eclipse. The low will be around 63. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny and pleasant with a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Freedom Summit Chicago returns to the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca on Saturday, October 10th. Headlined by investigative journalist James O'Keefe and former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. They'll be joined by Dan Proft, Sean Thompson, Jeannie Ives, Amy Jacobson, John Anthony, and many more. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Opum Tax Advocates and attorney Stephen Leahy.
In a recent survey of 123,000 wireless customers, Pure Talk was the only wireless company to receive 5 stars in every category: coverage, support, value, and data. What else do you need to know? Switch to Pure Talk today and get any plan, including their top shelf unlimited data plan, for just $15 a month for your first 3 months. No contract, no commitment. Dial pound 250, say micro, and let Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team help you make the switch.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have helped American heroes ever since. Heroes like United States Navy Chief Shannon Kent. Kent was killed in a suicide bombing, leaving behind her husband, Joseph, their 2 kids. Tunnel to Towers honored her sacrifice and paid off the family mortgage, giving them security forever. Donate $11 a month. Maybe you have a car to donate, land to donate. Please go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, 1 light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
Family fun is back at Gobert's Farm in Pingree Grove. For over 40 years, Gobert's is Chicagoland's family destination for fall fun. Come experience new rides, a huge corn play box, train adventure, farm animals, and our famous pumpkin-eating dinosaur.
This was the most fun day ever. My parents were there, my kids were there. There was a pumpkin patch, a maze, a haunted house, slides, a train, a fresh market, and there was so much more. I loved it.
It's a family tradition for us to visit Gobert's. The pumpkins are great, the attractions are fun, and the apple cider donuts are to die for.
Loved it. One price to get in. My kids had a blast.
And the kids say,
my mom loves the homemade caramel apple.
I have to say, the pumpkin cannon is cool.
They got a pumpkin-eating dinosaur. The live giraffe is really cool.
I love the jumping pillow and the Pumpkin Express train ride.
Gobert's Farm in Pingree Grove. Pick apples, visit the pumpkin patch, explore the park, and just have fun. Go to GoBirds.com to purchase tickets now. That's GoBirds.com. GoBirds, harvesting family memories.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering 24/7 security solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
The following live program is sponsored by Breakthrough Ideas.
AM 560, The Answer. It's time for breaking news, expert insight, and informed commentary on what's happening in Springfield, Chicago, and beyond. Because an informed citizenry is the only way to protect our republic. It's time for The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson.
Well, welcome to the program. I got to tell you, if you are a Chicago resident, or a Cook County resident for that matter, and you just got your property tax bill, don't be surprised if it's not up dramatically, because it appears that they are up and they're going to continue to go up. Yep. So according to this report by the Maria Pappas.
Oh, our good friend,
Maria. Good friend, Maria Pappas.
Love Maria
going to take I can't remember it, a whip and a bullhorn and I don't know. And she's just going to shake things up in the mayor's race. We'll talk about more about that as well. But she said the total property tax bill for every city, town, school district, and other taxing body across Cook County is more than $19.9 billion, according to her analysis, an increase of $744 million or 3.9%. Now, there are other districts, though, where obviously if your school board, and if you allowed your school board to do this and you voted for it, shame on you. But there are other districts where, you know what, they passed referendums, like Prospect Heights. For example, rose nearly 21%, thanks in part to a voter's approval of a $21.5 million in borrowing for road improvements and equipment. And at the same time, home values shot up 31%, but business properties only went up 12.4%. They're lucky they went up at all, because elsewhere they're not going up. We've got a real problem with the commercial sector pushing off all of that tax responsibility onto property tax owners. And who to blame about it? That's the question, because these are just numbers.
But we don't know.
Numbers.
Like,
we don't know.
Who are we going to blame?
Is
it Pritzker's fault? Mm-hmm. Is it Tony Preckwinkle's fault? Is it Maria Pappas's fault? Like, whose fault is this?
Yeah, well, you know whose fault it is? It's your school district's fault, and it's whoever's running your county, because they're the ones who are levying these taxes. And yeah, it's Pritzker's fault to some degree. He could have put in protections for taxpayers. He could have redone some things like a property tax cap. But when the rubber meets the road, it's who's running your school board and who's running your city. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, because today is the final day to drop out of the Chicago Board of Education president's race. There's a number of candidates. Victor Hansen, he's a black attorney. Jessica Biggs. There's also the CTU candidate, Hilario Dominguez, who's crazy.
Are you typing me up a roster?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And then Jennifer, starting lineup. And then
exactly.
Jenny Custer, who took $90,000 in CTU money because she's on the school board right now, but she's running for president, allegedly. But now she's against the CTU. And there's some drama there. And to go through all of that, let's welcome back to the program. It has been a while, Frank Calabrese, political strategist. Good morning, Frank. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So let's start with the only black candidate in the race, Victor Hansen. He's an attorney.
I think Henderson?
Victor Hansen. Victor Henderson. I don't know why.
You're thinking of
Swedish.
VDH.
Henderson. Victor Henderson. And recently he made news because his divorce record was unsealed, and they're fighting. He and his wife were fighting for custody, and he didn't deny using corporal punishment on his two sons.
Correct. He was on WGN last night, and his story is that he's raising two black sons in Chicago. He wants to discipline his sons accordingly so they come up to be good men. But his ex-wife alleged in court filings that it reached a point of them being injured, and she said that he hit him with like a garden hose. So there's some dispute over what really happened.
Yeah, but do you think that's going to affect him come November 3rd?
So I think his message would resonate in the black community, that he's, he's trying to raise some good boys and he wants to be a stern father. But at the same time, I work in campaigns. On the south side of the west side of Chicago, the male to female ratio in terms of voters is much heavier on the female side. It's about 60% women in a lot of these wards. So I think this could affect his base.
Because I don't mind what he did. I mean, honestly, and then I heard he dropped off his son at a homeless shelter just to make him realize you should appreciate what you have. I'm not offended by that.
Right, and Victor's defending his behavior as being a disciplinarian for his son. So,
okay,
yeah.
Tell us about Jessica Biggs.
So Jessica Biggs. So as you probably know, the unions are fighting. There's this meme that the girls are fighting, and the unions are fighting. So as long as I've been involved in Chicago politics, the teachers union and the service employees union, SEIU, always were hand in hand. They were both supporting Brandon Johnson for mayor. They both supported, Chuy Garcia for mayor back in 2015. And they've always been one the same. But now that there's been financial, difficulties in the school system, and the board's been controlled by the teachers union, the teachers union controlled board, they decided to fire the service employees, meaning, janitors, paraprofessionals, stuff like that, and not touch the teachers. So the service employees union, they're putting millions of dollars behind Jessica Biggs. They already put $1 million down. I hear they're going to put many more million. So this is very significant because the service employees union and the teachers union, they're considered progressive unions. They usually back the most liberal candidate. But in this instance, under the Johnson administration, they're fighting against each other to the tune of millions.
Well, let's talk about the CTU candidate, Hilario Dominguez. I mean, there's allegations he made a Hitler statement while he was in school, that he was very bizarre behavior to other teachers while he was passing, from one period to the next.
Correct. And he made a Hitler salute to, from my understanding, a fellow Jewish employee at the time. So very serious allegations against Hilario Dominguez. He is currently the political director of the Chicago Teachers Union. He actually has the same job, if not very similar to what Brandon Johnson had when Brandon Johnson was running for mayor. So
okay, he's going to win. I'm telling you right now, he's going to win.
I don't think. Have you heard this? I mean, you think Brandon Johnson may be a clown? This guy's an actual clown.
Yeah. Okay.
He dresses like he's a rapper.
You just proved my point. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I don't know.
The clown show continues. No, the CTU is in the power position. If the CTU likes that guy, that's who they're going with. I don't care if it's the CPS president or if it's this, because there's not enough dollars outside of the unions to affect a voter, change in mindset. And if this is all just noise. I mean, this race, right? This race for the CPS board president, that is this November, correct?
Correct. It's the general election, and also it's the first one ever. So before there was an election, it was kind of like a preview. They elected 10 members of the school district. Now they're electing 20 school board members in the Chicago district, their individual districts, and a school board president, which is citywide. So there's 21 positions up.
Okay, but wait, there's more drama, Jeannie. Jennifer Custer, who took $90,000 from the CTU, when she was running for school board, is now running for president. But I heard, not from you, but from a very reliable source, that she's probably going to drop out. But she won't do it today. They allege that she's going to drop out tomorrow, endorse Victor Henderson, but then her name would still be on the ballot. What say you?
So today's the deadline, as you mentioned earlier. So if she doesn't drop out today, then she's on the ballot, which is correct.
Right, but
so
if she drops out tomorrow, I mean, it's just sleazy politics.
The more the merrier. The more people on the ballot, the better it is for the CTU pick, because Correct. It dilutes the vote. And that's another reason that you just cannot buy enough awareness when people are more thinking about the midterms from a national standpoint. And you've got Pritzker running and Stratton running, and they're just eating up the airwaves. I don't know how you can focus voters' attention on this particular race. You just don't have enough money. So that means whoever has the messaging apparatus, which are the unions with their embedded email lists, and that's who wins.
So this is why I think it's really interesting is that you have SEIU going against CTU. So SEIU, they have more members. So as you can imagine, there's more people that are like security guards, airport workers, et cetera, than teachers. And so SEIU, historically, they've been on the left like CTU. Again, they were very they spent about $4 million in support of Brandon Johnson in 2023. So it's a progressive union. They're in the liberal ecosystem in Chicago, but they're going against CTU. And so that's why I think Jessica Biggs is an interesting candidate. And also, I think Jessica Biggs is going to get a lot of outside money of people that want to kind of contain CTU because they think they're too powerful and they're not doing a good job of managing the school system right now.
Do you think she'd do a good job budgeting or balancing the budget? Or is she a radical at heart?
So she was a principal. She represents the downtown area. She actually represents where I live. I know her, and she's not, I wouldn't call her like a radical. So Hilario Dominguez, again, he's the political director for CTU. So everything you see coming from CTU, he essentially has a hand in it, right? So he's a very high-ranking guy. Where Jessica Biggs, her background, she's a school principal, and, she probably sees things through a very different lens than someone like Hilario, who's, a political union organizer.
Yeah, but Hilario also has a strong Hispanic base, is my understanding, right?
Correct.
So who's turning out? That's the question.
That's who's going to turn out?
Which voters are turning out? Because
correct.
Yeah. This.
In Chicago, I kind of work in this field. In Chicago, the black population and the Latino population are very similar. They're almost equal, but for many different reasons, cultural, legal, Latino vote just isn't really that high. So, and you saw that last time, Chuy Garcia tried to run. He only got 14%. There's just Latino wards. They might bring out 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 votes, whereas North Side wards would do 20,000 votes. So, the wards are similar in population, but just for cultural reasons and, many aren't citizens, Latinos just don't vote in very high numbers compared to other demographics. That being said, Hilario is the only Latino candidate, so that would benefit him.
Well, it's going to be an interesting race, and of course, we're going to reach out to every candidate to see who would want to come on the show and talk about it. Let's move on real quickly to the mayor's race. Brandon Johnson had this town hall live stream on NBC5 yesterday. It was at 4:00 in the afternoon. It was really, it's people in the audience were on their phones. Nobody seemed interested. It was, of course, he bashed Trump because, he said the door's open, but Trump has to basically come and see him.
My door is always open to Donald Trump and the White House, but we cannot have a relationship if it's one-sided, right? The federal government has a responsibility to deliver to the tax dollars that we ultimately send to the federal government in the first place.
I can't hear him talk anymore. But the more pressing question, I think the reason why they had this town hall, Jeannie and Frank, was because they wanted him to announce that he was going to run for re-election. That's what I think they were hoping for, but that didn't happen.
I take, these decisions incredibly seriously, and I made a commitment to the people of Chicago that I would work hard every day to build the safest, most affordable big city in America. And we certainly are doing that. That decision for re-election in politics, I believe that will take care of itself. I believe the people of Chicago deserve to have a mayor that is
Nixon and Trump and every Republican
on...
for not getting the job
so
done.
He went from bigger,
time.
Better, safer Chicago to the safest, most affordable city. That's his new slogan.
Is he running? That's the question, Frank.
So again, I talked to a lot of his allies, and he's definitely running. It's just a matter of when.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys are well aware, he's very unpopular, according to the polls. And he's trying to reinvent himself. So, I think, I don't think Brandon Johnson's going to ultimately win, but I think he's in a good position to make the runoff, meaning that he'll, get the second, most votes, because he does have a base. He wasn't elected by a fluke. There's a lot of pockets in Chicago that are very liberal, essentially socialist, as you know. And, so I think his message will resonate enough to, to do some damage and make the runoff. But, his poll numbers are just so horrific. He's like underwater by like 30, 40 points, depending on the poll you look at. It would be very hard for him to kind of win a 1-versus-1 type of election.
All right.
Well,
so you think he'll announce after Labor Day?
Yeah. So the people that I talked to, there's no plans for him announcing before that.
Okay. All right. Frank Calabrese, we'll have you back on as we get closer to the election. And thank you so much for your time and expertise. We appreciate it.
And stay on the
Thanks
line.
for
We're
having
going to
me.
take your calls after this break. 312-642-5600.
You're listening to The Real Story with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
MyPillow is celebrating our country's 250th anniversary with savings up to 50% off their made-in-the-USA products. For example, get the queen-size premium MyPillow for $18.98 and the king size for just $1 more. Get body pillows with a free pillowcase for only $39.98. Get the MyPillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99 and $80 off the MyCross, all made right here in the USA. But there is so much more. In fact, they have over 200 products. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code Chicago or call 800-489-0201 to check out all of the great products they are offering. Get everything from MyPillow blankets, sleepwear, kitchen towels, mattresses, duvets, pet beds, comforters, couch pillows, bathrobes, and so much more. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code Chicago to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
AM 560. The Answer.
All right, 312-642-5600. Lines are open here on The Real Story.
Do we have our favorite Maria Pappas bite?
Oh, yeah. We're just going to burn it all down.
Somebody doesn't go in there with an axe, a hammer, a dog, and a whip. It's over. Pack it up. Go to Greece. Go to Spain. Go to Portugal.
You got to love her. Okay. All right. Let's go to Greg and LaGrange. Greg, welcome to the program.
Hi. Every day we hear the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're shocked, right? It's like Captain Renault from Casablanca. I'm shocked that there's political chicanery going on in Chicago. Nothing's done unless it's done through an identitary lens, whether it be race or ethnicity. You have good people in this city, and I would consider Ray Lopez a good person that wants the best for all his people, which means everybody. Or a Keith Peacock in Orland Park, and what happens to them? They get destroyed by chicanery, backdoor insults, rumors, innuendo, and they get basically driven off the map because they don't have the clout. And let's be honest with each other. Can we please? Brandon Johnson right now hasn't announced that he's going to run for mayor because CTU hasn't decided who they want to put up for mayor.
Well, they did have a fundraiser with him. No, because most of the unions are backing Janulius, but one branch of the union, local 173 and the CTU had a fundraiser for Brandon Johnson, and Chris Welch showed up for that too.
Amy, but the CTU, whether you like them or don't like them, or think they're doing bad for anybody, or whatever your personal feelings are, they can navigate the political winds, especially in Chicago. They know when they could put a candidate in that's going to have a better chance of representing their views. This is the problem here. We have good people trying to step up, and I'll defend Chicago Flips Red because I'm a black and white guy with John Anthony on the weekend, and along with you guys, at least they fight. We have no Republican Party in here. I'm echoing what Jeannie said. I'm echoing what Jeannie says. I'm echoing what Dan says. I'm echoing what everybody says because there's no fight. You have a group that will fight. We all have to unite. And the question is whether people like me who are in their early 60s now want to fight anymore for Illinois. Because I'll tell you what, when you're retired and you're living on a fixed income and you're talking about property taxes increasing, local taxes increasing, just the squeeze on how Illinois is being run by the governor in the state, it's not livable. The quality of life here is not livable anymore. You need X amount of dollars to keep living in Illinois. How many people want to run down their retirement to keep living here?
All right, thanks, Greg, for the phone call. We appreciate it.
No, Greg, I mean, totally agree with you, though. I got to be honest with you, but though I'm kind of exhausted by the whole idea that it's me or Dan or whoever, Amy, you name it, John Anthony, we're the ones who have to message directly to the people to wake them up. Really? Why? No, people need to find this out for themselves. And I guess they're not punished enough yet by the high property taxes, the toll increases, the fees. But it's me. I have to go out there and individually talk to every voter and wake them the hell up to tell them that their schools basically suck. Most of them do. That they're indoctrinating the kids. That crime's out of control because you have the Safety Act. Do I have to actually go down and throw up every single bill that Laura Ellman and in Naperville votes for, or this whack job Amy Briel and what she has said and what she did in her office? We're trying to do that, but at some point I can't talk to every single voter. I can't do it.
And we hope that they keep listening to the show on the podcast and learn
exactly.
something.
But I mean, this is the big deal. If they're not going to help themselves, if they're not going to figure this out, you're an American, figure it out. And I'm sick and tired, absolutely sick and tired of people that are just in on the grift.
No, that's a good rant. Let's go to Earl.
Yeah,
in
let's take
Ottawa.
Earl, welcome to the program.
Hi, I'm Earl from Ottawa. I'd like to first say September 24th in LaSalle County, I think it's statewide, early voting starts. And I'd also like to say November 3rd is around the corner, less than 67 days to election day. Wake up, Illinois. Here's my question about Cook County in Chicago. How many registered Republicans are currently in Chicago or Cook County we're looking at in terms of votes?
Well, there's enough to make a difference. There's absolutely enough Republicans to make a difference. Turnout is going to make the difference in this race. Who's going to turn up? And just because Trump's not on the ballot doesn't mean that Trump voters shouldn't show up. You have got to show up. And then independents need to wake up and figure out who's on their side and who isn't. I mean, I got involved in politics only for one reason, and that was to protect the taxpayers. Yeah, sure, I am pro-life. I am pro-business. I am pro-everything, but it's the taxpayers that have been getting screwed over in this state for decades. And I only went down to Springfield to protect the taxpayers because all the rules are made there. Well, we're going to continue this conversation with Mark Glennon after this break, and we're going to talk about both Illinois and Chicago being the worst in terms of their debt ratio in the entire country. It's a disaster, folks. Wake up.
Freedom Summit Chicago returns to the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca on Saturday, October 10th. Headlined by investigative journalist James O'Keefe and former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. They'll be joined by Dan Proft, Sean Thompson, Jeannie Ives, Amy Jacobson, John Anthony, and many more. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones financial advisor Nolan Webster.
News, I'm Gianna Gelosi. Closing arguments today in the trial of Lindsay Clancy, the Massachusetts woman who says postpartum psychosis led her to strangle her 3 kids in 2023.
If the Commonwealth has proved to you beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant was not suffering from a mental disease or defect at the time of the killing, the Commonwealth has satisfied its burden of proving that the defendant was criminally responsible.
It's Judge William Sullivan instructing the jury. A tropical storm Dolly forming in the Atlantic.
The storm could reach the islands and get close to Puerto Rico this weekend, bringing heavy rain. The storm's name of Dolly is getting some attention due to the recent passing of Dolly Parton. Those storm names are decided upon in advance as part of a predetermined list rotating every 6 years.
And that was Fox's Eben Brown reporting. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon will bring partly sunny skies with a few sprinkles possible. The temperature will reach a high of 81 degrees. Tonight, expect mainly clear conditions, perfect for viewing the lunar eclipse. The low will be around 63 degrees. Tomorrow is set to be mostly sunny and pleasant with a high of 82 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
The new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power comparison between AP300PC and AP300S.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
If you open your garage door and gasp at how ugly your garage floor is, cracked, salt stains, dirt, unlevel, then do what I did and call our good friends at Level 10 Coatings. They can give your garage floor a total makeover. It still looks great, shiny, and clean. You got to call these guys if your garage floor has any of those symptoms that I mentioned. And you don't have to live like it. Get it done now so you can enjoy the last few weeks of summer and the fall. You can watch football games in there. I set up a TV in mine. Level 10 Coatings, they're fast, reliable, highly professional. Went to work, came home, and it was done. A shiny new gleaming garage floor, a quick, easy, permanent, durable solution, guaranteed to never chip or peel. The process is really simple. They'll send you samples. You pick out the color you want, the color scheme, and then voila, they come. They don't subcontract. No. These are their employees. They're professional. They know what they're doing. Great guys. They come to your house, move your junk out of the garage if you would like, and then when it's done, they'll put it all back. And they use polyurea, which is stronger to epoxy. So schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, to receive $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level10coatings.com or call 855-510-2628, 855-510-2628. Again, staff are local and ready to answer any questions. Level 10 Coatings, they do more than garage floors, though. Also basements, any outdoor space, and commercial properties in Northwest Indiana, Chicago, and Southeast Michigan. Big or small, they coat them all. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
It's Reveille. About 4 years ago, Tyson Foods packed up its Illinois headquarters and innovation center located in Chicagoland and moved both operations to Arkansas. About 500 employees were affected by that move. Now, 10 days ago, Tyson Foods shut down their meatpacking facility in the small town of Jocelyn, Illinois, and laid off 2,500 employees. The employees are understandably upset, wondering where they will find another job in an area where jobs are scarce. The unions are upset. That's a lot of dues-paying jobs going away. State legislators, both Democrat and Republican, are upset. How do they explain yet another business leaving? But Pritzker's response? Tepid. He says he's in talks with Tyson Foods to repurpose the facility, blames the closure on the high cost of beef, notes that Tyson is closing other facilities in other states, and says we're doing everything that we can to lift the people up in Jocelyn. But he's all hat and no cattle. When 2,500 workers lose their jobs instantly, Illinoisans should be asking Pritzker, where's the beef? Apparently, the beef's in Texas. Tyson Foods just opened a new facility in Amarillo. It can easily add a second shift and process the same amount that Illinois plants used to. Obviously, Tyson is consolidating operations in states more friendly to business. In their 2026 ranking of best places to do business, Chief Executive Magazine wrote, the states focusing on the fundamentals, talent, infrastructure, tax, and regulatory climate are the ones that will continue to do well. In that survey, CEOs ranked Texas number 1 and Illinois number 48. It's only a mystery to Pritzker and the Democrats why 2,500 people are out of a job at a plant that operated for 40 years. They're leaving because it's the smart thing to do. I'm Jeannie Ives. Join me on The Real Story Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. and sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com.
Now that summer is here, it's time for some summer home maintenance.
That's cold!
Hot water issues? Call CenterGuard Plumbing. Right now, get a new 40-gallon atmospheric vent water heater installed for just $1,295 standard installation, or a 50-gallon for $1,395 standard installation, with free haul away of your old tank. A proud sponsor of AM 560. You'll save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on tankless and atmospheric vent water heaters with CenterGuard Plumbing. Plus, get 10% off any licensed plumbing contractor competitor's price. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon, and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive summer special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit CenterGuardPlumbing.com.
The mainstream media isn't just biased. They're hiding stories from you, deliberately. Restoration News is changing that. With elite researchers and fearless writers, Restoration News is the conservative media force fighting back in the information war for America's future. Download the Restoration News mobile app today or visit restoration-news.com. That's restoration-news.com. Real stories, real truth. It's time you knew what they don't want you to know.
The TV tide is turning, and millions of Americans are tuning to Salem News Channel. For breaking news, common sense analysis, and the conservative voices leading the conversation, SNC delivers the stories that matter most. Watch Scott Jennings, Larry Elder, Mike Gallagher, and many others tackling the issues facing our nation. Stream free on Pluto TV, Samsung TV, the Roku channel, and more. Salem News Channel, the news you want, the perspective you trust.
This hour is brought to you by Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker and Amy Jacobson. Heard Sunday mornings from 8 to 9. Learn more at retirementdecoded.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we've got a couple of phone calls we're going to take quick before we get our next guest on. We've got Jeanne in Wheaton. Jeanne, welcome to the program.
Hey, Jeannie. You know, I was listening to you talk about the Republicans. I follow down Tracy on X. He has excellent posts. Now, granted, he's running for Senate in D.C., but there are excellent posts there that are kind of attacking the whole Democrat cabal. And I look at Deere and Bailey, and I go, what the heck? Yes, we need to fire Pritzker. I totally agree, but it's not going to be sufficient. We need people to vote Republicans for House and Senate in Springfield as well if we want them to even have a voice, because right now there's not enough of them to vote anything, and the media doesn't even want to cover them.
Well, they've not done their job to the extent that they need to in terms of getting out the messaging. Now, apparently, they're out in front of Tyson Foods today.
Today, Pritzker kicked off his bus tour with the Pritzker bus. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to go on a bus. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the private plane will meet him somewhere else. But he's touring Illinois. And then, meantime, Bailey's kicking off his next leg of his campaign outside of the Tyson plant that was just closed.
All right. Well, that's smart.
Illinois.
Hopefully, you get some press from it. He needs to do more of that and should have been doing it relentlessly since he won. All right. Thanks a lot, Jan. Appreciate the phone call. We'll follow Don. Okay. Jerome in Palos Hills. Welcome.
Good morning, ladies. I'd just like to say that
I've heard this a couple of times, and I think even one time when I called about this pushback where people want, like, either you, Jeannie, or Dan, or whoever, to help lead the people. And I understand that, a lot of people, they do their radio shows and everything like that, and they do other things. But we really do have an emergency situation where we need leaders that know what to do and can be, I got a mental block here, but the word where where they have people who mentors to show them and lead them and guide them. I mean, when I was in the Army, sometimes when we didn't know how to do things, they would even have like a 5-minute block of instructions and ask if you had any questions. But basically, what I'm saying is I understand that a lot of people don't want to, and I did things in my life that I thought sometimes wasn't appreciated. I didn't have time or whatever. But it's an absolute emergency where it's like somebody's house is flooded. You're not going to tell them that, hey, you should take classes or you should do this and all that to fix this flood situation. I guess you would try to help them. So we desperately need help, but I understand a lot of people don't want to do that, and that's the main reason why we get people in power in Washington and state of Illinois and everywhere, because no matter how bad they are, devious, corrupt, they're willing to step in there and do it, where a lot of the other people don't want to do it. And that's why we end up with people like Mitch McConnell and all that for years, because probably the other guys or the other women didn't want to do the job. And
yeah, Jerome.
I hope I've made some sense here.
No, Jerome, thanks a lot. I appreciate your phone call. You made a lot of sense. Obviously, and honestly, I do think that we have some really great candidates on the Republican side, some really qualified people that have actual experience in a variety of fields where they can weigh in and make things happen and make great decisions. We do have those people out there. Now, as far as mentorship, I guarantee you, like both of us were helping out Ted Dabrowski in the primary. He didn't win. Dan helped Bailey a ton in 2022, running an independent expenditure PAC on his behalf to get him elected. That was not appreciated. I can tell you that personally.
Well, Pritzker's using the same ads that he ran, that he used 4 years ago.
Right.
He's requeuing them.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
I constantly have candidates come into my office and ask for mentorship, and I provide it. So, happy to do that. Happy to help people do that. It's the voters who need to be a little bit more proactive about looking at their property tax bill and wondering what the hell happened here, and then understanding where the blame or getting involved in their schools and knowing what's happening there as well. I mean, you just have this horrific incident of this CPS guy who basically raped a girl. It apparently was put on the do not hire list, or maybe he wasn't put on the...
No, he's definitely on the do not hire list.
Okay.
I checked.
And so he shows up again in West Chicago and does the same thing to 5 other students.
I was infuriated.
So who's at fault there? West Chicago, it's your freaking superintendent.
Yeah.
He needs to be
do the background
fired.
check.
He should be fired. Don't push it off on an HR flunky. The buck stops at the superintendent. And the principal, where the hell were they? Fire the whole damn chain of command. Ruin their pensions. That's the only thing they care about. It's the only thing. So voters in West Chicago, you wake up. Okay, and what about this Maura Hirschauer? What's she doing for you? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. You have an option there. You have a Republican running against Maura Hirschauer. Get rid of her. I don't know what else to tell people. All right,
real quick, just back to that CPS teacher. Why is it that when CPS teachers molest, rape, they're not a child, they don't go to jail? It's so frustrating. Like, no one in all these cases at Channel 5, they're never in jail. One principal or a higher up at Juarez High School took her to get not one but 2 abortions, and told people at the abortion facility that, we're family friends. No, he's her rapist. Okay? Wake up there too.
Exactly.
God, it's infuriating. I mean, they just let them commit crimes. Where if you or I or anybody on the street did that to a little girl or a young teenager, we'd be in jail. It's just this place is a racket. This whole state is sick. And CTU and CPS, my God. And then I'm part of it. I mean, I was a part of it with my kids and myself. And I know what devils they are. They're evil, but they won't stop until you're dead if they don't like you.
Yeah.
Trust me. If they can't get you, then they'll go after your husband. They'll go after your kids. These are sick, demented individuals. Okay? And I'm going to put it all in my book. Because
I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. I'll write the cover for it.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. Well, they're not just morally bankrupt, they're fiscally bankrupt. And Pritzker is out there crowing yesterday about the 11th credit upgrade during his term. Like, this is meaningful. It's not at all. And here to discuss that and so much more is Mark Glennon, an expert when it comes to debt and bankruptcy, because he used to be a bankruptcy lawyer. Oh, by the way, he's also the founder of Wire Points. You've heard him before on Dan's show, but I really wanted him on about this report from Reason Foundation that says both Chicago and Illinois, oh, by the way, not doing well. In fact, some of the worst entities fiscally in the entire country. Mark, thanks so much for coming on.
Always a pleasure. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. So what about this 11th credit upgrade? Should we be impressed?
No. Here's the fundamental reason why. Since Pritzker has took office, he's been blessed with $160 billion of additional revenue that wasn't there. And I'm not talking about from natural growth. I'm talking about from tax increases. And do an inflation adjustment, call it $110 billion or something. It's like twice the annual state budget. Well, you're going to get some credit upgrades there. The rating agencies love taxes. That means that you're not going to default on your debt because those bonds have priority for the most part. And if you've got that kind of cash coming in, you're not going to get it. You don't have to worry about your bonds going in default. But it's on a strain on the taxpayers. The same, turn the page and you see that taxpayers are leaving because of that. So, the state is a little better off in one sense, but are the people of the state better off? Of course not. It's a transfer of one block of holders of the money to a different one, the state. And Pritzker is responsible for most of those tax increases.
Yeah, no, I mean, their report was pretty glaring. Essentially, it said that Illinois has the highest debt ratio of 276%, which means it's got $220 billion in debt and only $80 billion to cover in terms of its assets. In Chicago, they wrote the cities of Chicago and New York are among the most concerning, each triggering red flags on 7 out of 8 metrics, indicating severe stress across both long-term solvency and short-term liquidity. That's a problem. They grapple with high debt loads, deeply negative unrestricted net positions, and precarious cash positions that limit their ability to weather economic shocks. Oh, and what did Chicago do? Remember, they famously sold off their sales tax receipts, their seed corn, so that they could take on more debt. They did that. And then they had this to say about Chicago. And this is so true. The risks compound in places with overlapping layers of government. Chicago residents, for instance, face red flags from the state, county, city, and school district. Chicago residents face a combined debt burden of roughly $49,431 per resident when considering their shares of state, county, and city obligations combined. I mean, I think it's worse than that.
That reads like a Wire Points article from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We've compiled those numbers on that aggregated basis in the past. And when you think about it, most Chicagoans don't have any capacity to pay any of that. So if you think that $48,000 per person sounds manageable, well, you got to remember that it's only going to be a few percent at the top that are having to pay for that. And if you accepted the progressive principle that only the top 10% should be getting higher taxes, well, that comes to like $1 million per Chicago taxpayer with all the overlapping obligations that we have here. And you're right. That Reason report really goes after Chicago as an outlier. It says Chicago stands as the single most distressed major city in America because of all those financial indicators. And, it went through like 9 metrics that are kind of conventional for financial people. that are the kind that you think that the rating agencies use. They're supposed to. So I really have no idea why the rating agencies have held up as well as they have with Chicago and the state and many other places. Chicago is only one notch over junk still, but boy, choose wisely when you buy your bonds.
Well, let's talk about the loss of 2,500 jobs at the Tyson plant in Rock Island County. Pritzker's out there right now on his bus tour touting, job growth in Illinois. I mean, everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. But he claims that the plant closed because there's a lack of cattle. And Darren Bailey's out there saying, yes, that is true. There's a lack of cattle, but his policies that he put in place, the taxes were just too high for Tyson. So what do you think the true story is there?
He's got an excuse for everything. Every week, there's one or two stories that come out about how life has been made harder for employers in Illinois. And just as I was holding on the phone with you, I got a pop-up of an email from someone at a major venture capital firm here in Chicago that I used to work with. Pritzker just signed this bill eliminating what's called the Section 1202 tax break for new ventures, which is a federal tax break. So we're going to break with federal tax policy and disallow that benefit for state taxes. And he says, quote from the email, as if Illinois isn't challenged enough on the venture capital front, this is just another reason for founders to look for places outside of Illinois to start companies. I hear that every day, and I get these emails from people in the business community that I used to work with constantly about the weekly bad news that comes out for employers here.
Yeah, well, on the venture capital front, though, aren't we one of the lowest in terms of where venture capital is locating? It's not located in Chicago anymore.
It has turned down recently. The volume of deals and dollars is way off from where it is. I'm not sure where we rank nationally. No doubt we're well behind many other cities that have popped up. And there's an important element to this too that's really captured in Stuart Lauren's great editorial in the guest editorial in the Chicago Tribune. He's a very brainy guy in finance, law, and history too, and he did a precise calculation of how much the lack of growth has impacted the city, and it's like 30%. We would have had a 30% increase in revenue. The city would have if we had merely grown at the same pace in terms of GDP as the rest of the nation. And, that too is something we've been saying at Wire Points for years. You give me any back-of-the-envelope plan for trying to get us out of this mess, and it has to include growth. In part, you have to grow your way out of it. You've got to at least keep up with the rest of the nation. And we're not doing that. He quantified it very precisely. And, as long as you're stomping on the people who would grow the economy here, then you're not going to get out of this mess. And that's what we do. We stomp on them day in and day out.
So where's the venture capital that's going to venture their capital into Chicago politically and basically try to save this city and state? That's what I want to know. I want to see them stepping up to the plate. Come on, take the pitch. Let's go.
Yeah, some of them are working hard behind the scenes, to address these things. They know they got tired of hearing me talk about pensions when I was with their I used to spout off too much at the regular meetings we used to have with our legislators and such. But they know, and some of them are working hard to try to fix it. But some of them are like the rest of the civic community in Chicago, the very wealthy guys. It's get along and go along, and they don't want to challenge anybody. And I've had some of them expressly say that to me. Mark, we'd love to give you money for wire points, but I got this project that I'm trying to get through city council, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's constant. That's constant. And they know that retribution is vicious in Illinois politics. So that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Mark, thanks for adding some clarity to this. And everybody should, again, go ahead and sign up for the Wire Points emails, their daily emails, and then also read his latest one on the police and firefighter pension funds and where they stand. It's not pretty. So, Mark, I really appreciate your insight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeannie. Take care.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. And we'll be back with your phone calls and comments. 312-642-5600.
Don't believe the official narrative? You've got the real story on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, offers Chicago businesses relationship-first banking. Signature knows your name and your story because personalized banking still matters. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature is where I do my business banking.
Hi, I'm Tony Patrick, CEO of Total Wall and a client of Signature. We produce high-performance materials used in exterior insulating finish systems and other stucco applications. During a recent business transaction, I learned quickly that having the right banking partner matters. Signature stepped in, took time to understand my business needs, and kept things moving. If you need a banking partner you can rely on, look for a team with real experience and a commitment to your success. For me, that's Signature.
Signature helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, at 773-467-5600 or visit signature.esquirebank.com. Esquire Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
AM 560. The Answer.
All right. Well, we got our rants into her today, but I thought they were valuable.
I pulled a hammy.
Yeah, well, let's go to Mike in Yorkville. Mike, welcome to the program.
Good morning, late morning, ladies. It's only telling that we live in a demented state that allows people who shouldn't be voting to vote, to be able to take money they shouldn't take, and yet we keep on thinking that the money will never run out, especially the people who create these contracts by using our tax dollars as means to buy votes. So as this keeps going on, this is only telling the rest of the nation that it's okay to do, and it's like letting, it's opening Pandora's box. The more we keep allowing it to happen, the more it's going to happen, and it can infect the rest of the country.
Well, Mike, yeah, I agree, but we're a special we're a special situation, special stupid here.
Different kind of dumb, I always call it. A different kind of dumb.
I just don't understand it. Worse fiscal shape. I mean, absolutely, you've got Pritzker, who's just morally bankrupt, and we can't get a change. Voters can't understand what's going on and what they're doing to you. I hope we can get a change. Hey, listen, we appreciate our callers. We're sorry we did not get to everybody today, but we have Free for All Friday tomorrow.
Yep.
So call back and weigh in on the conversation. We do want to hear from you.
We appreciate you. God bless you. Scott Jennings is next.
It's peaceful here. Quiet. But it wasn't always. Here, the past isn't confined to textbooks or museums. It's in the soil, a pulse within the earth. Here, you can walk in step with history, where others once marched toward